Hello guys, so serious conversation. This is kind of a follow-up video as to the events that took place. And the follow-up video is not going to just be strictly about El Paso because it's kind of been happening on a wide scale now, and that's not a good thing. Now, I don't really want to address the gun portion of it. I want to address the aftermath. Now I'm starting to see a trend here. People are starting to get very mad at the president. Now I admit I don't like him either. He can be kind of a jerk from what I've seen. And much like any other president, there are things he does good and there are things he does bad. I'm not going to get into detail about that because I don't want to turn this into a political thing. And that's not the main concern of this. The main concern is that you guys want to put blame on this one person, and this person may have influenced what has been done. But ultimately, at the end of the day, these bad people chose to put that weapon in their hand. They decided they were going to shoot and kill innocent people. And some of them aren't even geared towards racism at all. Some of them are geared towards gun control, and some of them are geared for no reason at all. For example, the incident in Ohio. That incident, the man actually murdered his own sister. And there was no political gain on that. There was no racism on that. He just decided he was going to do it. So I think one of the key things is everyone needs to actually read up on each event. There are some of them that have correlation, and there are some of them that don't. At the end of the day, these people are finding it very easy to hit public places. And so that draws the question of people need to learn gun safety. It rises the question of tightening security in places, mainly Walmart, because Walmart is the place that's been hit the most, obviously. Now, the other issue is that the victims that survive, some of you are making a game out of it. I remember I saw a photo of the baby in a cage. I get it. You guys are mad about how the Hispanics are being treated. But don't direct that anger towards that innocent baby. Because 10 or 20 years, the baby might see that photo. The baby might change their name because you have turned them into a political war tool, and that's not right. They are an innocent baby. Leave them alone. Their parents just passed away, for goodness sake. And even if their parents had just passed away, don't turn them into a meme, please. It's very immature, even if you're trying to get your point across. The other thing is people are not very happy about Trump smiling in a photo. Okay, I don't know his reasonings for smiling. Maybe they're good or bad. But he's the president, and part of his job is to maintain a position of not being affected by tragedy because he's the one who has to set the example. And I know a lot of you don't like him. Again, I don't like him very much either. But he is doing what he needs to do. And if he hadn't smiled, I think you guys would still be complaining like, oh, he didn't smile with the baby because he doesn't. Yeah, I think either way you guys would have probably bashed him. You don't like him and you've made that very clear, but please do not let your anger and your sorrow cloud your judgment. And that's what a lot of people are doing. And what's worse is that when people try to give other people facts and data to back up incidents in the world, other people are lashing out and being like, well, I don't care about your opinion. You cannot argue with facts and you cannot argue with data. Granted, facts and data are not always correct. Most of the time, they are what people use to back up things, and they're the things that the history books are going to take credit for. Because they're the things that other people in the future can look at to kind of make an idea as to what was going on. So please stop handling this chaotically, some of you. Not all of you. Some of you are doing a beautiful, amazing job, and I'm so proud of you guys. And then other views, not so much. So it's just be kind to each other. Be respectful of each other's opinions. Let's not be at each other's throats because there's a saying that a friend of mine told me, and I'm actually surprised that she's keeping up with all this stuff because she's like major love and light and all this other stuff. And she kind of likes to try to turn a blind eye to the things happening in the world. But anyway, she said an injustice and an injustice does not equal a justice. And this saying goes way back. And it's true. If you guys are treating the injustice that has happened with more injustice, what are you doing for the world? Think about that. Think about that clearly. A lot of you are nitpicking at little things that are not the root of the problem. You need to be thinking about, how can we make public places safer? How can we make sure that we elect somebody we like? And if we don't like that person, how can we impeach them? There are right ways to do things and there are wrongs. Two wrongs do not make a right. Okay, imagine you're a little kid and there's someone trying to peer pressure you to do something wrong. Now, the peer pressure does have some faults, but ultimately, if a little kid tells you, oh, I want you to steal a pack of gum, and you're like, well, I don't want to steal a pack of gum, but he's like, but you need to steal a pack of gum because the corporations make too much money and it won't matter. Or if you steal this pack of gum, you'll get our point across. And so the kid steals a pack of gum. Well, that kid still decided to do the wrong. Maybe the person did influence, but did the person who influenced take that person by the hand and force them to grab that pack of gum? No. They chose to follow that bad example. And so that's the issue here. You guys do not want to blame the person who's really at fault. Not all of you. Some of you take the idea of blaming the person who's at fault very, very serious, and you just need to leave that into the law's hands. And we won't get into that because it's very, very sticky, and I just don't want to make that into World War III with any of you, because I know that's how that will end. And others are kind of, they're so blind with hatred, anger, and sorrow is that they want revenge on not necessarily the person, because the person's already caught, the person's already jailed, the person's already getting the justice. But I've also been reading a lot where people are trying to find people in his town, family, and trying to bash them. The thing is that we do not know his family situation. We do not know whether or not he was with his family. What we do know, according to the news, is that he went to college and was living with his grandmother last. Who is to say that the grandmother and mother talk a lot? You know what I mean? There's also supposedly a report where, the mother tried to warn people. And the other thing is people need to take warnings a bit more serious as well. And I think after the events that happened, some places are upping their game in that, and others not so much. But guys, this is not a game, and a lot of you want to turn it into a game, and it's not a game. This is a severe, serious matter, and a lot of you also want to blame video games. Video games can be a negative influence on some people, but in this particular case, we haven't seen any of these shooters show indication that they are gamers. And typically when that does happen, you find that more on the high school level, and it's normally accumulated with bullying or like with the Slender Man incident, that was due to an influence of the internet and the idea of worshiping a dark entity that they thought was real. And so, again, you see that maybe in a lot of kids, and typically only if the parents are not watching what they're doing, but not always, because even in the Slenderman cases, if you took both girls, one of them, her parents were very, very strict with her, and they watched what she did a lot of times. They didn't even see what happened coming. And the thing is, although parents are responsible for the actions of their children, and in this case, influencing their people, it does not hold all the fault on them. And you guys don't seem to know where to put the blame. You need to put the blame on the criminal. And even then, once you have done that, you cannot let that cloud your judgment as to what's just or unjust. Like, you guys want to torture him and stuff like that. And I get that. Okay. I get that. I really do. But in most states, you either have lethal injection, life, and I think a few of them still have the electric chair for murder. And obviously there's evidence that he did that. So he will get his justice. I'm sorry if it's not the justice that you want, but we have a system in play for a reason. I just want to say, for those of you who have taken a negative attitude towards the events, is please love each other. Please stop judging each other. And please stop turning everything into a political battle. Because we're all here together. And please don't be playing the race card, because a lot of you are like, oh, it's a white supremacist. And it's like, that's true in some of the shootings, but not all of them. One of them was actually done by an African American. Another one was done by a mixed person who was Hispanic and white. Again, please read up on everything before you draw your conclusions. In El Paso specifically, it was led to be a hate crime. It has been shown evidence that it was a hate crime, but not all the shootings are the same. And you all are trying to push them all into one bowl and shove them the same. The only thing that most of them have in common is, for some reason, people are targeting Walmarts. And yeah, that's a little scary. And I think that's more because they saw one guy do it and they're like, oh, well, if he can do it, I can do it, type of thing. And I think that's the attitudes towards that. And what I have to say that is that Walmart, please up your security. And people, you have two choices. Don't shop at Walmart, because right now it's just not safe, or be cautious of your surroundings, which is no matter where you are, you always want to be cautious, because death can take you at any time, any moment. Lady Death, or the Grim Reaper, takes people when it's their time, and that's sadly how it is. As far as the dead, be respectful. Don't turn them into your political war games or tools. Especially the young. If there's anyone who's young, who is a victim, or who has survived, don't, because 10, 20 years, they're going to see that. There are people who are Holocaust survivors who were in the media long time ago, and a lot of them changed their names because they don't want to be bugged about what happened. They don't want to remember, and you're not really giving them a choice when you start to label them like that. Let these children grow up and decide for themselves what they think of the events. Don't think for them. When they are adults, they will be able to decide what they think of those events and what they don't. It's not your job to decide if it's bad for them or not. And I think the best example of that is the Trump photo with the baby. That baby will decide if that's inappropriate for Trump and the First Lady to be holding him or not. That is his choice to make, not yours. And secondly, that was his family's choice to have him photographed. Because Trump asked if he could take photos with people. Again, I'm not a fan of Trump, but I think people need to stop letting it get to them so emotionally. Because when you're letting things get to you emotionally, it clouds your judgment, and you cannot make a wise choice or decision or analyze the situation as a whole. This video is becoming a lot longer than I'd like it, and I'm hoping I don't have to do a follow-up, and I probably won't, even if I do feel I have to, because I don't like fighting among people, and I don't like telling people the truth that they may not like. Not because I'm afraid of backlash, but because I respect people's opinions, and I believe in what the rights we have, and I just feel like some people need to handle this a lot better. The memorials, and not just in El Paso, but in other places where these crises have been happening, are beautiful. And just remember, we are one nation, and we're a melting pot. And a lot of us have been mixed a lot longer than we know. They've been mixing since the times of queens and kings, people. The Spaniards would marry the English, the French, the Austria. The Indians, even, for a time, would intermingle between the different Indian tribes as a way to keep peace between the tribes, and a lot of people forget that. Mixing was a way to keep peace. And so there's no crime in it. I know a lot of people can't guess what I am. I mean, I've gotten some backlash too, and I'm like, do you even know that I am mixed? So, yeah. And when I fill out my papers, I always put other. I don't identify as Caucasian. I don't identify as Hispanic. I don't identify as Irish or Asian, because I have so much blood in me, and I don't think my race matters. And so I think we need to start seeing us all as humans, human beings. Come here, kitty. I want to show you something, okay? Because I want to end on a more lighter note. Let me show you guys something. This is Myelin. She's my lovely kitty, my newest kitty. Look at her. She's got black, orange, white. She's my little monster. She doesn't want to be on the camera. But the reason I want to show you guys real quick is, did you know calico cats? They have tons of colors in their babies. The most beautiful colors. And they are the reason that we have so many solid colors as well as mixed colors. So, look at the genetics of the cat. What does that tell you about people? Yeah, we're not cats, but we too hold genes that hold beauty, history, and legacies of many things. Anyway, I love you guys. Please be positive. Please don't be negative with each other. And try to not think of the little things and look at the bigger picture. Do not let anger, sadness, and grief cloud your judgment, no matter where you are, because we are all here. And if you need someone to talk to, I'm here. I'm willing to listen. I don't mind. I'll lend my ear, as always, and I won't judge you for your opinions. And I won't tell you they're wrong. I just will listen. Love you guys. Foxy Diana out.